Imagine meeting your own grandmother one day and not being able to understand her stories. Imagine also visiting your parents and visiting your parents' hometown and feeling like a tourist because you cannot speak the language. How would you feel? Now, today we are going to talk about something that is much deeper, you know, than learning vocabularies. And we are going to talk about identity. We are going to talk about belonging because language isn't just something we speak. It is something we carry because it carries our stories, it carries our values, it carries our memories, and it also carries a sense of, you know, belonging. Good morning. My name is Miss Diana, and welcome to my live show today. Now, let's dive into learning or knowing about, language, identity, and heritage. I hope we are going to engage in this conversation. And if you have any question, please type it on the comment section and we are going to, to answer them together. Okay. So now, what is a heritage language? What is a heritage language? So, a heritage language is the language of your parents, your grandparents, your ancestors, your community, the language to connect to culture. Now, for example, let us look at this one. A child who is born in America to a Kenyan parent or a Kenyan parent or Kenyan parents. Another one is a child born in Canada to Tanzanian parents. A child born in Australia to Ugandan parents. A child who's also born in England to Congolese parents. Uh-huh. Now, in this particular case, English is going to become their strongest language because of where they are born. But Swahili or any other heritage language connects, them to their family history. As much as you are born in those other countries, English is going to be a stronghold language. But you have to remember that Swahili or any other heritage language is going to connect you or is going to connect that child to their family history. Now, when you talk about heritage language, it's not going to replace English. No. It's about adding another piece to your child or to your child's identity. Isn't that beautiful? You know, we are not replacing English, but we are adding something or we are adding another piece to your child's identity. That is indeed pretty cool, right? Yeah. Sorry for that. Now, as we talked yesterday, we say that language is more than words, you know. Language carries our traditions, carries songs, carries stories, it carries humor, it carries wisdom, it carries our values, and it carries history. Now, look at this. Mm, think about this English proverb which says, "Do not judge a book by its cover." And we have another one in Swahili that says, "Haraka haraka haina baraka." Uh-huh. Now, the two words are totally different, but if we look at these two proverbs, the wisdom reflects what you call cultural value. Now, without language, many cultures or many cultural values, you know, meanings will disappear. And as parents, teachers, educators, and homeschoolers, we really don't want our cultural values or the cultural meaning to disappear. We would really want to maintain that from one generation to the next. Yeah. Tell me, what do you think? Or type on the comment section another type of proverb that you'd want us to, or that would mostly reflect on our cultural values. Hi, grandma. Grandmother speaks only Swahili or speaks only Yoruba. The conversation will just end there. And remember, grandmother has, a lot of stories, a lot of advice, memories that you would want to share with the grandchild. Yeah. And also has traditions that you'd want to pass from um, generation to generation. But sadly, this cannot be shared. Now, I have a question to my viewers. Have you ever struggled to communicate with an older family member because of language? Have you ever really struggled to communicate with, an older family member because you do not understand this language, or you can only understand but you do not speak? Yeah, type in the comment section and tell us your experience. What really happened? Now, when we also lose our language heritage, we lose family stories. We lose family stories because every family has stories, right? I know as parents we have experienced that. Yeah, every family has a story to tell. Uh-huh. It can be how, the grandparents met, how your parents grew up, the traditional games, traditional recipes, because I know those are indeed passed from one generation to another. We also have family jokes. And without language, many stories disappear forever. We lose our cultural knowledge. Now, think about these traditional ceremonies that we usually have. Uh-huh. We also have our customs. We also have the dances, uh-huh, traditional medicine. You see, those are the things that really, really disappear from our communities if we lose our cultural language heritage. That is sad, right? Now, let's look at this. Let's see how language actually shapes your identity as a child. Or let's see how a language would shape your child's identity. Okay, who am I? Who am I? And this identity would have to include where you come from, your family history, language, beliefs, experience, you know. So, language helps, you answer those questions. Uh-huh. This language will definitely help you answer those questions. For example, if a child say, I'm Kenyan, and someone asks, oh, can you speak Swahili? And the child says, no. You know, that one sometimes creates what we call an internal conflict. They are proud of their heritage, but did feel disconnected from an important part of it. Yeah, the child is very proud of being Kenyan, but the child cannot speak Swahili. Indeed, they are proud of their heritage, but they feel like they are disconnected from one important part of being Kenyan. Uh-huh. And also, speaking the language actually does not determine whether someone belongs in a particular place. No, but learning it can deepen, their connection to their roots and give them another way to participate in family cultures. Okay, so speaking the language does not show that you belong to a certain community, but learning it is going to deepen your connection and your connection to their roots. Uh-huh. Now, um, have you ever thought whether you belong? And most of the children, for sure, want to belong. They want to belong at school, at home, with cousins, excuse me, with grandparents. And language helps, and this is where language comes in handy. Imagine visiting Kenya and everyone is laughing and speaking in Swahili or speaking Swahili. The child doesn't understand what would happen to them. What do you think is going to happen to a child? First, the child will not understand and they're going to feel left out. Now, imagine the same child joining in, laughing, greeting relatives, ordering food, making friends. That one, we see that language indeed creates a belonging, you know. They will not feel like they are left out anymore. No. They will feel like indeed they do belong somewhere. Okay? And that is what language does. If your child really speaks Swahili, this will make them to, take part in these conversations. Have fun, laugh, order food, you know, and that will be the best gift that you can ever give your child, teaching them their language heritage or their heritage language. You know, have you ever thought that grandparents are living libraries? Have you? Okay, now here it goes. Our grandparents, they hold or they carry wisdom. They also carry our traditions. They also hold or carry our songs, those that were sung long, long time ago. Also, they hold recipes, family recipes that have been there in so many generations. And then they also carry family history. And once they are gone, those stories may disappear forever. Now, language will really, will allow grandchildren to inherit those treasures directly. So if your child speak Swahili and they have been communicating with their grandparents back at home, and they have also been visiting Kenya and speaking this precious language, you know, they are going to inherit those treasures directly because they are passed from one generation to another. Now, let us look at this example. You know, a grandmother teaches, how to make chapati. Also, grandmama teaches, a traditional lullaby. Also, you know, um, grandmother also teaches, you know, a childhood story. Now, without a shared language, sorry, those moments literally become very, very difficult because there is a language barrier there. They cannot communicate. They cannot do all this. They cannot share these memories together. So, meaning that they are going to be lost entirely because it becomes really, really hard for them to understand each other. Most of these kids are, you know, uh, have pride in heritage. You know, we have kids who know their roots. You know, and those kids who usually know their roots, they usually develop confidence. Yeah, they'll develop confidence, and instead of them saying, "I'm different," they begin saying, "My culture is beautiful. My language is beautiful." And then they say, "I have two languages." Uh, now, I like to encourage parents to actually, to celebrate multilingualism, you know, as a strength. Parents who are watching me, remember that is a strength. Okay. So I have had so many myths that parents are talking about. And one of them is, like learning two languages confuses children. Those who are watching me, tell me, did you also believe in that myth? Because I don't believe in that myth. The truth is, you know, research has, consistently shown that bilingual children are capable of learning two or more languages. And mixing languages while learning, learning is called, code switching, kuchanganya ndimi in Swahili, which is very common. As yesterday we said that you shouldn't be, you should not panic when they start code switching, because this is a process of learning, and eventually they are going to be in a position of separating these two languages. So code switching is very common, and it is typically part of the normal bilingual development. So when you see a child code switching, know that it is normal, and eventually they are going to separate all those and speak these languages differently or separately here. Another myth is that they say that English is enough. Now, it's not enough. The truth is, English is also important, but heritage language provides one, we have what we call family connection, cultural knowledge, identity of importance, you know, and additional communication skills. And it is okay for your children to learn both of them because they are all important. Another myth is that parents saying that it is too late. It is too late. No, it's not too late, parents. Children, teenagers, and adults can all learn this language at any age. And but to know that the earlier the better, because um, children learn better at start speaking better then. And but know that if you have not started, it's never too late, and learning is very very possible at any age. Now, our parents usually preserve our heritage language, or maybe you come and ask yourself, I am a diaspora mom, I am a diaspora dad, but how can I preserve these heritage languages? One thing you can do in order to preserve this heritage language is speak the language daily. You and your child, okay, or you and your family, speak the language daily. Read books, sing songs. You can decide to play songs, that are from your country. Cook together with your kids. Call grandparents. Let children have conversation with them. as they continue learning their heritage as much as they are very far. Celebrate these, holidays together. Visit home countries when possible. So if you have an opportunity of visiting your home country, please do. Watch cartoons that are in that target language, play games, and create traditions with your kids. This is very, very important, you know. And once that is done, I know you are going to preserve the heritage language. And that one will just come naturally because it's something you do. It's not something that is going to be seen that it is forced. And we said yesterday that we shouldn't force our kids to start speaking. Yeah. So we want them to start doing this naturally. So remember to like, share, and subscribe. And do not forget to leave a comment if you have a question. Now, let's proceed. Language is love. Language is love. And language isn't only about grammar. No, it's not about grammar. It's saying, I love you. I am proud of you. Welcome home. I'm here for you. Many emotions feel different in our first language. Have you ever tried that? So, if you've ever tried that, tell me in the comment section, how did it feel? How did it feel, you know, uh, to talk about these emotions in your first language? Did it hit differently? All right. So, sometimes this language carries memories, comfort. They also carry, cultural meaning that are hard to translate. But language is love. Did you know that? Now, I have some few questions that I want us to reflect on. And one of the question is, what language did your parents speak? You can type in the comment section as we have these interactions. So, um, what language did your grandparents speak? What language do you speak to your children? Yes, parents, what language do you speak to your children? Have you ever wished that you knew heritage language better? As you grew up or right now, have you ever wished that, oh, I wish I knew, my heritage language way better than I know it right now? Again, another one, another question. What traditions do you want your children to keep? Yeah. What traditions do you want your children to keep? And then this is a fun one. What is your favorite word in your heritage language? What is your favorite word in your heritage language? Now, another question. Um, if you could pass only one thing to your children, what would that be? Let's think about that. If you are a parent and watching me in this live stream, and if you are only you are if you could pass only one thing to your children, what will it be? You can think about that, or you can think about this question and know what you'd really pass to your kids. But of importance, remember our heritage is important. Remember, speaking our language is very important because it carries so many things that we would want it to be maintained, would want it to be passed from one generation to another. You don't want your children to feel like they don't belong. You don't want to see your kids feeling like they are disconnected. No. We want our kids to engage. We want our kids to take part in conversations. We want our kids to also make jokes in Swahili and also be in a position of ordering food in Swahili as well. I know we all want that, either be it in different languages, but they are your heritage. We all want our kids to know all that because it carries a lot. Yeah, it is indeed very important. So, what I want us to know today is that language is more than communication, it is connection. So, if your child can communicate, remember she's going to be connected with, you know, grandmama and other relatives who are back at home. You know, it is connecting us to families, our ancestors, our stories, and also, ourselves. So when we teach a child a heritage language, we are not simply giving them, new words. No, we are not giving them new words. We are giving them a key to unlock generations of wisdom, culture, and a belonging. Can you imagine that? It's not only new words every day, no. We are giving them a key to unlock what is, generations of wisdom, culture, and belonging, which is very key, which is very important. So, whether your child learns a new word every day, you know, or becomes fluent over time, every step matters. Remember, we said yesterday, this is a gradual process. They may not speak immediately, but eventually they will. Uh-huh. Every conversation with grandparents, every song, every bedtime stories, and every greeting helps, build what you call a bridge between these generations. So remember, every song, every conversation with grandparents, every bedtime story, and every greeting, you know, it helps to build what you call, a bridge. Sorry, it helps to build bridge between generations and generations. So parents, let's raise children to know where they come from. That is very important. Let them know their belonging. Okay, and let them make them, or not make them, let them, be proud of their heritage. Because this carries legacy. Yeah, it carries legacy into the future because when we preserve a language, we preserve family, story, and it is the best gift um, that would last for so many, many generations. Uh-huh. I know we can still remember those stories that our grandparents told us long, long time ago. And I know you keep on telling them to your kids sometimes if you have time or if you understand each other when it comes to language. And you see, it lasts for so, so many generations because it's never lost. And it cannot be lost indeed. So remember, language is important. Language is our heritage. Knowing a language will connect us with our to our roots. And knowing our language will make us to also belong. Do you want your kids to belong? If you want your kids to belong, type on the comment section that you want your kids to belong because at Tayari.life we have a very good program that will help kids try to trace back to their roots. We have um, stories, we have lessons that are well structured, where we have songs, activities, games, and stories. Please visit us or send us an email at learn@tayari.live and we will start having this conversation from there. And we will help your kids know their roots. We will help your kids feel like they belong. So please go find us. Follow us on our socials on Instagram. We are it's Tayari.live. On Facebook, Tayari.live. On TikTok, Tayari.live. As also on YouTube, it's Tayari.live. Please do not forget to comment, share, subscribe, so that whenever we go live, you'll get a notification. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope we have learned one or two things as parents, teachers, homeschoolers, and educators that we are going to implement in our, you know, in maintaining our heritage language. Okay, so see you next time for another topic where we are also going to talk about language. See you next time. Bye.